Thank you, Mr. Foshong. Well, it is my great honor to invite Honorable Dr. Han Sung-soo, the former Prime Minister of Korea. Dr. Han is the founding chair of High-Level Expert Panel on War and Disaster, UNSGAP. Please.
Mr. Loic Foshong, President of the World Water Council, Prime Minister Mori, President of Japan Water Forum, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and great pleasure to welcome you to this panel discussion and to have the opportunity to brief you on the work of the high-level expert panel on water and disaster of the United Nations Secretary General's Advisory Board on Water and Sanitation. Your presence here today underscores our firm resolve and collective endeavor to address an issue of critical importance. Finding the solutions to challenges and opportunities that surround water will be crucial to eradicating poverty, advancing environmental sustainability, and achieving sound economic growth. I thank you for having dedicated the time to gather here in Marseille and for attending this particular event. I would like to take this opportunity to offer once again our deepest condolences to the victims of the tsunami that brought tragic devastation to Tohoku region in Japan about this time last year. We all wish that Japan's relocation and reconstruction work will be completed as early as possible. As some of you may know and recall, some of us at the High-Level Expert Panel on Water and Disaster visited one of the most severely damaged cities, that is Rikuzen Takada City in Iwate-ken, Japan, in late April last year, and had a one-day conference on water and disaster in cooperation with JICA, headed by Mrs. Sadako Okada. Ladies and gentlemen, since March 2009, when the panel issued the milestone report, Water and Disaster, we have witnessed an unprecedented increase in the loss of lives, socioeconomic costs, and widespread environmental destruction resulting from massive water-related disasters. Last year, 2011, was by far the costliest year in recorded history due to such catastrophes. A total of around 206 million people were affected by some 300 disasters. This resulted in upwards 30,000 victims and a cost of approximately $366 billion US. What is most unfortunate is that such brutal destruction of human lives, economic assets, social infrastructure, and natural resources could have been averted. The widespread damage to entire communities and nations that has manifested from such disasters could have been greatly mitigated had the risk been properly managed. The figures provided by expert reports from various sources, including the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Reduction, International Council for Science, Integrated Research on Disaster Risk, World Bank, OECD, Center for Research on Epidemiology of Disasters, Munich Reinsurance, and other sources point in the same direction. The occurrence of disasters is on a rapid rise. However, this worrying trend is not so much due to a sudden, unforeseen increase in the frequency of erratic natural phenomena, but rather as a result primarily of increased social vulnerability. Without doubt, the world has stood witness to extreme and devastating natural events that have struck all corners of the globe. Haiti, Japan, which I just mentioned now, Thailand, Pakistan, the Philippines, the Horn of Africa, just to mention a few. However, another trend is emerging. It is perhaps one that has been less noticed, but is equally, if not more alarming, as it impacts regions of the world that have previously escaped unscathed from such disasters. With increasingly urbanized coastlines and watersheds, with poverty still affecting huge pockets of populations around the world, with an increase in degraded ecosystems and destruction of natural habitat, and with the impacts of human-induced climate change that is progressing at a worryingly rapid rate, we stand more vulnerable to disasters than ever before. The combination of these factors has concocted a real-time bomb of a situation, and humanity stands at the brink. Disasters are no longer a matter of if, but rather when. Unfortunately for us, that when is happening too frequently and with unrelenting ferocity. Ladies and gentlemen, managing and reducing risk is now a must in all policymaking, business, continuity plans, and civil society social and economic activities. For this, risk governance needs to become a higher policy priority. Moreover, disaster risk management should occupy a more central component of integrated water resources management and of environmental and economic policies. Without appropriate risk governance mechanisms at all levels, disasters will significantly burden our ambitions for economic growth and environmental sustainability. The successful transition towards green growth hinges on our ability to address disaster-related risks. They need to be fully addressed with social and human vulnerability tackled as top priorities. This is an essential requirement for building disaster resilience, which is itself crucial for facilitating green growth and ensuring sustainability. The 2009 High-Level Expert Panel on Water and Disaster report provided valuable pointers as to what is required. It identified the relevant role of the Hyogo Framework for Action as the main instrument to guide the action in this field. In addition, it called for specific partnerships to be developed to collectively address the immense challenge. The report aims at raising awareness among water and environmental policymakers and administrators that are engaged in integrated water resources management, which includes watersheds, rivers, lakes, coastal and environmental management. It encourages them to pay great attention to the need for reducing risk and vulnerability to natural hazards, most of which are water-related. It further identifies the resilience of communities and nations as sine qua non for green growth, poverty eradication, and sustainable development. Suitable integrated water resources management needs to include risk reduction as an ongoing task. Also required are plans for providing appropriate water supply mechanisms when disasters occur, whether triggered by a hydrometeorological or geological hazard or phenomena. These were the two central objectives of the High-Level Expert Panel on Water and Disaster. One, enhancing risk reduction capacities in integrated water resource management, and two, enhancing water management capacities in disaster management for response and recovery after the disasters. Given such realities, we must make sure that governments and international organizations, when meeting at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, Rio de Janeiro, later this year in June, will take appropriate actions to meet these challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude my remarks on a more positive note, I am pleased to inform you that the President of the 66th session of the United Nations General Assembly and the Secretary General of the United Nations have agreed to convene one-day thematic debate on water disaster in the second week of July this year. This will serve as a landmark event for those heavily involved in preventing and alleviating water-related disasters. This will be the first time in the history of the United Nations that the United Nations General Assembly takes up the issue of water and disaster as a major agenda for a full-day plenary session. In preparing for this session, if I may say so, Mr. Genzo Hiroki, where are you? Played a very important role. I'd like you to join me for a round of applause for him. World leaders and water experts can utilize this plenary session to deliver a more precise set of actions to ensure that the urgent issue of water and disaster is properly addressed by governments and relevant international organizations. In particular, it will be crucial that this issue features prominently in the upcoming negotiations on, among others, climate change, disaster risk reduction, green growth, Millennium Development Goals, and future Sustainable Development Goals emerging from Rio+20 in June, for which water and its related issues cannot and must not be overlooked. The high-level expert panel on water and disaster will continue to exercise its expert leadership in raising awareness on these key issues. Together with my panel members and close partners, I will continue to call for common and joint actions among key national, regional, and global actors to address these challenges that define our time. Through discussions today, I invite you all to find ways and means to disseminate these messages widely and to integrate them in your own work and contribute towards building a safer world for ours and the upcoming generations. Thank you for your attention.